let's kick things off with some action across NWSL. Challenge Cup is here. It's coming up over the weekend. There are some last minute roster moves that have been happening, some kit reveals. Let's talk about it all. Gotham FC making some news, officially re-signing Japanese international midfielder Nahomi Kawasumi to a contract extension through 2023. And they also signed their 2022 draft pick, the goalkeeper Hensley Hancuff, for 1 year with a 1 year option. And Gotham went ahead and also made some player movement. They traded forward Elizabeth Eddy to Houston Dash for some draft picks. So some action happening out of Gotham ahead of their first NWSL action and Challenge Cup.
Yeah, I mean, I think this says a lot about Scott Parkinson too. He had, in his press release about Kawasumi and re-signing the midfielder, he said just how much of a veteran leader she is and a professional, which really elevates the game. And then also a veteran in Kawasumi, and then also a 2022 draft pick in Hensley Hancuff, goalkeeper. She's out of Clemson. She did play a few years at Villanova. That's actually how I know her. I call Villanova soccer matches, and that's how I knew her, from her time at Villanova. But then she graduated ultimately from Clemson, and saying that she's a competitor. She elevates the training facility, and in just 6 weeks or so since February 1, when she reported after being drafted, now to getting a 1-year contract is pretty big. And I think for Hancuff, it's pretty beneficial looking at the other goalkeepers that she will be competing with. Ashlyn Harris, Michelle Betos. This is a great learning experience for Hancuff. And of course, Kawasumi, to keep that player around in the midfield. I think that it adds such a different look to Gotham's midfield. And now remember, Christine Ewis is thrown in there. They got Ali Long, McCall Zerboni. It's a nice mix.
No, I like the moves, honestly. I think Elizabeth Eddy is someone who's considered, a veteran of this league now, just an NWSL experienced player. And there was some movement there prior to actual movement with a trade, but I'm talking about like movement, like in terms of like positionally, right?
Yeah.
Like on a pitch. So like there were maybe some questions of like, where are we gonna like best utilize this player when it came to Gotham, right? Whether it was under Freya Coombe or, even under Scott Parkinson. So watching her get some time defensively, but also seeing her move, like able to move up higher on the pitch, because she's typically a forward. So, we'll see, how she fits in, with the Dash. But I also really like the goalkeeper signing. I'm in agreement with you. I think, in making sure that you have a young prospect, right, in this position is going to be important for Gotham in the long run. They didn't have anything to worry about for so long with somebody like a Kaylin Sheridan in net, but they obviously made some adjustments there, and they've got not just one but two very experienced goalkeepers now in Ashlyn Harris and Michelle Betos. So this 1 year, one option, to sort of have a young goalkeeper to kind of sort of like, bring up and train and develop right alongside these other goalkeepers, I think could end up in a kind of a payoff a little bit for Gotham moving forward when you're investing in a young prospect like that. Speaking of investing in a young prospect, Portland Thorns also making some headlines as well. They have extended forward Sophia Smith on a new contract. Smith signing a 3-year deal with the Thorns. She's been with the Thorns since 2019, drafted directly out of the draft. Still a young player, still a high ceiling, I think. And I mean, it's evident that they want to ensure that she's going to remain with the Thorns as she continues to develop. We got to see her, during those matches in the She Believes Cup. And, even what we saw out of this forward last year, Lisa, I think she brings very exciting, very smart attacking presence to that front line for the Thorns. And this was smart on the Thorn side to ensure that, like, listen, your initial contract is eventually going to be up. Let's extend it now.
We want you here. Yeah, she even sat down with Crystal Dunn, midfielder for Portland Thorns. It was on Portland's website and their social media. Great little interview, right, with Crystal Dunn. She's not competing. She's pregnant and expecting soon, but she's still involved in interviewing the players. It was actually a cute little chat. But she asked Sophia, she was like, you've been here for 3 years already, and now you get another 3 years. And Sophia reminded us fans, me, that She was drafted. It was a COVID year. Then she was injured. So she really didn't even get 3 full years of playing. And already she's established herself on the United States women's national team, established herself in the front line for Portland Thorns as someone that cannot be missed, and extended her contract for another 3 years. It's incredible that she's only 21 years old. So yeah, this is a huge grab for Portland Thorns. I think Rain Wilkinson and Karina LeBlanc at Thorns, this was such a smart move for them. Why not keep her around? She's becoming like the young face of the national team of Portland Thorns. This is a good player to keep around.
Yeah, I'm excited to see how a Portland Thorns looks, with Sophia Smith as its face of the franchise, right? It's almost feels like a little bit of a new era kind of signing, right? With all of these contracts that they've issued, and you're looking at maybe like a player like Sinclair, where the contract is maybe a little shorter, right? Someone who's been with the franchise since its beginnings, and then somebody like Sophia Smith, who's just kind of getting started, right? To have this kind of lengthier contract, I think it's going to bode well for them in the future. Lindsay Agnew got to announces her retirement with the North Carolina Courage. Had a 6-year career in the league with the Courage, the Spirit, and the Canadian national team as well. So she recently announced her retirement with the Courage. Will no longer be participating at the pro level. On to other things. So congratulations to her. Some news out of OL Reign. Madison Hammond involved in a trade to Angel City FC for a 2nd-round pick and $45,000 in allocation money. When we're looking at this move a little bit, I think it's a little bit of a mutual move, honestly.
Mhm.
I think
Mhm.
that's a good return for a young prospect in Hammond, who just wasn't getting the time really, with this team, maybe as she should have. Rumblings around the league, looking at her as potentially a starter, right?
Yeah.
Possibly on another team. And when you're looking at Angel City, some of the adjustments that they're gonna have to make, ahead of their own Challenge Cup, ahead of their first inaugural season. Um, Dealing with an injury blow to Sarah Gordon, so not kind of having that defensive depth that they maybe thought that they were going to have. I think this is maybe a good move for both parties here.
Yeah, this is a great move. Madison Hammond is a good player. She's a very good defender. She has so many basic skills that have already developed in just 1 year with OL Reign. But because she was sitting behind such top-notch players at OL Reign, she didn't see the field as much as she would have at other teams. That's why you're right. This is a mutually beneficial trade, sending her to Angel City, because Angel City needs defensive depth. Even if Hammond isn't a starter, right, when she gets there, right? I mean, this weekend, let's be frank. Even if she's not a starter, she'll see time, and she'll provide depth in the defensive position, because she can play in the center back or on the outside back. But preferably the center back is where I like to watch her play. Yeah, this is a good move and a good trade for Angel City, because no Ertz, no Julie Ertz, no Sarah Gordon. It's looking a little questionable. We'll see. I'm excited to chat with you about this on Sunday, Sandra. Just getting so amped up.
I mean, it's something that we're gonna have to pay attention to. Absolutely. We're still gonna stay with some news coming out of the rain, but it's gonna be on the kit side of things, the jersey side of things. This is also the fun time of year where we're starting to see clubs go ahead and introduce their kits for the new season. OL Reign revealing the Honor Kit. It is a white jersey, and it's going to replace last year's white jersey, being referred to as Gratitude, featuring names of clubs' season ticket holders in subtle gray text. It's the return of that really, really awesome kick-ass front name sponsor. I love it. The Black Future Co-op Fund, they're bringing that back on the front. It's a cooperative philanthropy by and for Black Washingtonians to ignite Black generational prosperity, health, and well-being. So that has returned on the front, and it screams Leon, right? We have to talk about that a little bit, Lisa. This has been a franchise that has obviously undergone the OL rebrand for some time, right? But this jersey in particular just sort of really kind of has that feel, right? Where it's got the blue stripes that are running down, is running right down the middle of the front of the kit. And then there's these other components to this reveal that are kind of just making it a little bit more personalized, I feel, with sort of recognizing former players, past, present, who have represented the Reign.
Yeah, I like this. It does scream Leon. As soon as you look at it, it's like, wait, who's playing in this? But I like the kits. I love that the players' names are on them. That's something that they did also with their gratitude jersey last year. It featured the season ticket holders in the gray spaces of that jersey. So this is not new for OL Reign. I think it's a very creative touch to it. And you can actually read the names. Like it's not so small that it's illegible. So I think that's pretty cool. It's a nice tribute to that. And it's because OL Reign, I mean, NWSL entering its 10th year playing, and OL Reign has been around since 2013 from the very start. They've had a lot of players coming in and out of their program to make not only OL Reign what it is and the Reign what it is, but the league what it is. I think right now most remaining active players from the 2013 roster are on OL Reign compared to any other club. Jess Fishlock, Lo Barnes, and Megan Rapinoe. So it's pretty cool. It's a pretty cool tribute to OL Reign and the club and even the NWSL. It's funny because these kit reveals started coming out over the last day or two, but before that, 3 or 4 days before that, there was buzz like, where are the new kits? It's like one of my most exciting parts of the year. Like, okay, what are the kits going to look like? I like the home kits, the away kits. And then it was like, okay, maybe for Challenge Cup, these clubs aren't going to roll them out and they'll wait. They'll kind of hold them until the regular season starts. But we started to see a few kits come out, and this one definitely a lot of meaning behind it. It caught my attention. I was like zooming in on Twitter, looking at all of the different names, trying to find people that I know. You know that I always got to find my friends that played for the Reign. So Marquette gals, 2 of them listed on there. Let's go, ladies. But I always have to do that. Search in. I like these kits. I like them, frankly.
No, I really enjoyed them too, and I love kind of like the reveal too, right? It had all the players rocking them, posing them, kind of putting their own twist on them with their own style, and just sort of seeing them in these kits with like the backdrop, like the setting that they took them in was like at Lumen's Field, which is where they're going to be playing their games now. So it was cool to sort of introduce a new kit while introducing that with the backdrop of their new home stadium, essentially. So bravo to them, good job with them. Seeing, like you said, a couple kit reveals. I mean, we got to see Naomi Osaka rock a new North Carolina Courage jersey while participating in the Indian Wells. So I mean, having one of your most prolific owners, who's one of the biggest faces in sports in the world, kind of help reveal your new jersey for 2022, I think is very, very exciting. So it's always cool to sort of see how teams are sort of utilizing different ways to show off their new kits, and I'm excited to see more roll out in the process and lead up to the Challenge Cup and to the regular season. In terms of news on the United States women's national team front, Vice President Kamala Harris is hosting the White House Payday Summit, and current and former members of the United States women's national team are attending the Equal Pay Summit at the White House. At the time of this recording, the event is currently underway, so people are going to have to get a look at that to get a little bit more information. But I love that this is sort of becoming a reoccurring event a little bit, right? In terms of a payday summit, an equal pay summit. This is not the first time that members of this team have been to the White House, right? We can have a little bit of a laugh about that in terms of their success has repeatedly brought them to that place. But in terms of things like this event, an equal pay summit, this is not the first go around with that. We saw Margaret Purse, we saw Megan Rapinoe attending this similarly a year ago, and getting to hear from them during their time at the summit was very, very enlightening, and I hope folks get a chance to take a look at that.
Last year when it happened, it was more about the conversation of we need equal pay. And now, from what I'm seeing and hearing about it, it's almost more of a celebration in the most recent U.S. Soccer Federation and United States Women's National Team settlement, which still kind of needs to be drawn. It's not finished, right? They still need a CBA. There's still a lot more to come, but they've gotten to this point. So they are attending at the White House to honor that and celebrate that. But I think the vibe is more so that, yes, this equal pay summit has happened before and it's happening again, but when are we going to get to the point where it doesn't have to happen anymore because it's not a conversation? But it is nice to see that players attending and being there with Vice President Harris, right? Like, this is what these players fought for. They're using their voices and their platform, and they're attending and showing up today. Again, it is happening now at the time of this recording.
It is going to be interesting to see. It's just sort of like how you pointed out, kind of the contrast of things, right? Versus last year's visit, compared to this year's visit. It's definitely a different energy. Maybe even I don't think it's unfair to say a better energy for sure. Congratulations are in order to the United States U20 national team. They are the winners of the CONCACAF U20 championship, the final coming down to the United States and Mexico. USA winning 2-0 with goals from Michelle Cooper and Talia de la Puerta, a penalty kick that was converted. So congratulations to the young squad. Both of these national teams punching their ticket to the U20 World Cup. And I love it. Hopefully maybe a little bit of a budding rivalry on the youth level for this one. So I'm excited to see its continued development, maybe into the U20 World Cup. We will see.